We're back with new details in the deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office confirming she called a medical center the morning of February 12th. That is one day after police originally said they believed she had died.
Our investigation shows that all the last known communication and activity from Ms. Arakawa was on February 11th.
So investigators initially, as you heard there, thought that she had died likely around February 11th, but they now confirm that she was alive on February 12th. And that's because of 3 calls that were made from her phone that morning to a medical center in Santa Fe called Cloudberry Health. That same medical center made one incoming call to her that afternoon that unfortunately went unanswered.
All that my team told me was it was very large. It was not an easy house to get through, and it took a long time to find all the rooms. So it was not something a normal house most of us live in that can be done in 5 or 10 minutes.
District Court has issued a temporary restraining order on images and video released from law enforcement taken of the couple's body and also the residence. And so 2 weeks from today, there's going to be a hearing, and a judge will likely decide if those images will ever be made public. You know, a lot of the sheriff's department announced that they were going to release body cam video. We have not yet seen that.
Today, we're diving into what might be the most shocking celebrity news of 2025. The mysterious circumstances surrounding Gene Hackman's death. That's right, the legendary actor who captivated us in The French Connection and Unforgiven passed away last month at 94. But what if I told you the official story doesn't add up? What if everything you thought you knew about Gene Hackman's final days was just a carefully constructed facade? The FBI has reportedly discovered major irregularities in the investigation of Gene Hackman's death, inconsistencies that point to something far more sinister than natural causes. We're talking about mysterious gaps in security footage, unexplained phone records, and even a dead dog locked in a closet. This isn't just celebrity gossip. This is a potential bombshell that could rock Hollywood to its core. And let me tell you something. Whenever there's this much smoke around a celebrity death, especially involving someone with Gene Hackman's level of influence and connections, you better believe there's fire. The money trail, the power plays, the decades of Hollywood secrets, it all comes together in this shocking revelation. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and get ready for the truth about Gene Hackman's death that no one else is brave enough to tell you. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be questioning everything. Before we dive into the shocking details, let's quickly recap who Gene Hackman was for our younger viewers. This wasn't just any Hollywood actor. Gene Hackman was Hollywood royalty, a titan of the industry with a career spanning over 6 decades. Born in 1930, Hackman rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most respected actors in cinema history. With 2 Academy Awards under his belt, Best Actor for The French Connection and Best Supporting Actor for Unforgiven, Gene Hackman built an empire in Hollywood that few could match. His films have grossed billions worldwide, and his influence extended far beyond the silver screen. What many people don't know is that Gene Hackman stepped away from the spotlight nearly 2 decades ago. He retired from acting in 2004 and retreated to a quiet life in New Mexico with his wife, Betsy Arakawa. No paparazzi, no interviews, no public appearances, just peace and privacy. Or at least, that's what we were led to believe. Gene Hackman's fortune is estimated to be in the hundreds of millions, money that creates both opportunity and motive. His connections in Hollywood run deep, with long-standing relationships with industry power players like Clint Eastwood, Dustin Hoffman, and Francis Ford Coppola. For a man who knew the inner workings of Hollywood for over half a century, who's to say what secrets Gene Hackman took with him? What powerful interests might have been threatened if Gene Hackman ever decided to speak out about what he witnessed during his time in the industry? The official story is that Gene Hackman died peacefully of natural causes at his home in Taos, New Mexico. A simple, clean narrative that was quickly accepted by mainstream media outlets. But as we're about to discover, the truth might be far more complicated and far more disturbing. Let's break down what we know about the final days of Gene Hackman and the irregularities that have allegedly caught the FBI's attention. According to reports, Gene Hackman was found deceased in the mudroom of his New Mexico home, with his wife Betsy Arakawa also found deceased. The official cause was listed as heart disease, with reports claiming Hackman had been disoriented due to Alzheimer's in his final days. Meanwhile, Betsy supposedly died from a rare hantavirus infection transmitted by rodents. But here's where things get weird, guys. Really weird. Irregularity number 1, Hackman's mental state. While official reports suggested he was severely disoriented from Alzheimer's, friends and neighbors told a completely different story. They reported that Gene Hackman was still lucid, driving himself to the supermarket, chatting with acquaintances, and even writing notes for a book he was working on. So why the discrepancies? If Hackman wasn't suffering from severe dementia, why didn't he call for help when his health deteriorated? Irregularity number 2, the timeline. Betsy Arakawa allegedly passed away on February 18th, leaving Hackman alone for 7 days before he was discovered. But during this entire week, there were no emergency calls, no text messages, no signs of Hackman seeking help. For a 94-year-old man supposedly disoriented from Alzheimer's to survive alone for a week without assistance seems implausible at best. Even more suspicious, Hackman's pacemaker showed no activity after February 18th, the same day Betsy allegedly passed away. So was Gene Hackman really alive for those 7 days, or had something happen much earlier? Irregularity number 3, the mysterious case of Xena the dog. Police discovered Hackman's small dog Xena dead in a cage inside a closet in the master bathroom. This wasn't just any dog. Xena had recently undergone surgery and should have been recovering in a warm place, not locked in a cage inside a closet. Meanwhile, Hackman's 2 other dogs were found alive but in a state of extreme distress, cowering and showing signs of fear when approached by investigators. Who locked Xena in that closet? If Hackman was disoriented, would he have been capable of doing this? If not him, then who? And why were the other dogs so terrified? Irregularity number 4, the phone records. Both Gene Hackman and Betsy's phone showed strange gaps in activity. Betsy's phone had no activity after February 11th, except for a mysterious 2-second call on February 15th that was immediately cut off. If she was suffering from a serious illness, why didn't she reach out for help? Was someone deliberately preventing communication? Irregularity number 5, the security footage. There was a suspicious gap in the security camera footage on February 18th, the same day the last signal from Hackman's pacemaker was recorded. Did someone enter the house during this time? Did they meet with Hackman? Were they somehow involved in what happened? When police discovered Gene Hackman's body, his sunglasses and walking stick were positioned neatly beside him, unusual for someone who had fallen suddenly. No signs of struggle, no attempts to get up, everything perfectly in place as if staged. All of these irregularities point to one disturbing question. Was Gene Hackman's death really from natural causes, or is there something much darker at play? The entertainment world has been eerily quiet about these alleged irregularities in Gene Hackman's death investigation. Too quiet if you ask me. Where are the questions? Where is the outrage? Where is the demand for answers? Gene Hackman wasn't just any celebrity. He was an institution, a living legend with connections throughout the highest echelons of Hollywood power structures. His silence over the past 2 decades has been respected, but what if that silence wasn't entirely voluntary? What if there were forces at work ensuring certain Hollywood secrets remained buried? Think about it. In an industry built on money, power, and influence, Gene Hackman was one of the few who had seen it all, from the golden age of Hollywood through the studio system's transformation into the corporate behemoth it is today. He worked with everyone, knew everyone, and potentially knew things that some very powerful people might prefer stayed hidden. Some of Hackman's former colleagues have expressed their grief publicly, Robert Duvall, Dustin Hoffman, and Clint Eastwood among them, but none have questioned the official narrative. Is this respectful silence or something more calculated? Social media has been buzzing with theories, with #HackmanTruth trending briefly before mysteriously disappearing from trending lists. Coincidence? You decide. But here's what we should all be asking. If Gene Hackman really did die of natural causes, why haven't authorities closed the case? Why continue investigating if everything is as straightforward as we've been told? And consider this, what happens to Gene Hackman's substantial fortune now? Who benefits most from his passing? Follow the money, as they say, and you might find yourself closer to the truth. This isn't just about the death of a beloved actor. This is about an empire of deception potentially crumbling under its own corruption. Power structures that have dominated Hollywood for decades thrive on secrecy, and Gene Hackman was one of the few remaining connections to an era when the real deals happened behind closed doors, away from public scrutiny. What secrets might he have been preparing to share? Who might have wanted to ensure those secrets died with him? While we're unraveling this mystery, let's dive into some lesser-known details about Gene Hackman that might provide context to this unfolding drama. Did you know that before becoming an actor, Gene Hackman served in the United States Marine Corps? This military background gave him a disciplined approach to life and work that friends say he maintained until the end. Would a former Marine with his training simply forget to call for help if his wife passed away? Here's another interesting tidbit. Gene Hackman became an accomplished novelist after retiring from acting, publishing several historical fiction books. His attention to detail and meticulous research skills were well documented. Is this consistent with someone who would leave their beloved pet locked in a closet? Speaking of residences, the New Mexico property where Gene Hackman was found is valued at several $1 million, situated in a remote area for maximum privacy. Perfect for someone wanting peace and quiet, or for something to happen without witnesses. Another curious detail: Hackman was reportedly working on a memoir in his final years. Multiple sources confirmed he was documenting his experiences in Hollywood, potentially including stories about industry figures still active today. That manuscript is now mysteriously missing from his home. Coincidence? Gene Hackman's relationship with Betsy Arakawa began while he was still married to his first wife, a detail that caused controversy at the time but was eventually forgotten as the couple retreated from public life. Their relationship spanned over 3 decades, making it all the more strange that they would both pass away under such unusual circumstances. And here's perhaps the most intriguing detail of all. In his final film role in Welcome to Mooseport in 2004, Gene Hackman played a former U.S. president with dark secrets. Life imitating art? Or just an eerie coincidence? These hidden details paint a picture of a man who was meticulous, disciplined, and unlikely to have simply forgotten to seek help if in distress. They also show a man who potentially knew too much about the inner workings of an industry built on carefully managed public images and behind-the-scenes power plays. As we wrap up this deep dive into the mysterious circumstances surrounding Gene Hackman's death, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the official story simply doesn't add up. From the unexplained gaps in security footage to the strange phone records, from the mysteriously locked dog to the pristine positioning of Hackman's personal effects, every detail points to something far more complex than natural causes. Gene Hackman's legacy deserves better than unanswered questions and suspicious circumstances. A man who gave us decades of incredible performances, who shaped cinema history with his talent and dedication, deserves the truth to be told about his final days. So what can you do about it? First, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you never miss our updates on the Gene Hackman investigation. We're committed to following this story wherever it leads, no matter how powerful the forces that might want it buried. Second, share this video. The more eyes on this story, the harder it becomes for anyone to sweep these irregularities under the rug. Use the hashtag #HackmanTruth to keep the conversation going on social media. And finally, leave your theories in the comments below. What do you think really happened to Gene Hackman? Was it truly natural causes, or was something more sinister at play? Who had the most to gain from silencing one of Hollywood's most respected voices? Remember, in an industry built on money, power, and influence, nothing happens by accident. This isn't just about uncovering the truth about one celebrity's death. It's about exposing the entire empire of deception that has controlled Hollywood narratives for decades. Gene Hackman's death might just be the loose thread that, when pulled, unravels a tapestry of secrets the powerful never wanted exposed. Until next time, keep questioning everything.